Now this is how you diagnose the transmission issue before you even get it out of the car. And this one's kind of easy. All we gotta do is look at the emblem on the front of the car. Now, of course, I'm joking, but these Dodges are known for transmission problems. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to identify a transmission problem, figure out what it is before you even take it out of the car and start rebuilding it. Now, transmission issues can be tricky, but this is my bread and butter. Now, a lot of times people will come in and just say, hey, I got a bad transmission. And a lot of times they're right. But I always want to be sure and confirm that the transmission is bad, because I can't tell you how many times people have come in with a transmission rebuild or a transmission replacement, and I end up finding something as simple as a broken wire or a bad fuse causing some weird issue. So this is a really easy problem to diagnose with this Buick Envision right here. This is a 2016 model, and it came here because it would stop moving after about 15 minutes of driving. The first thing I want to do is make sure it moves forwards and backwards. So there's forward movement and there's backward movement, even though it's a little sluggish. Now, the next thing we want to do is take it around the parking lot, and you can hear it kind of whining. So what that whining means is the filter is getting restricted, or the pump is getting restricted because the filter for the pump is getting clogged up. So the next step is to check the fluid. So now that we know that the fluid is full, we can safely assume that the filter is getting clogged up, and we even drove it down the road, felt it slipping, so we could safely confirm there's inside damage that's clogging the filter up, and the transmission needs to be rebuilt or replaced. Pretty easy diagnostic based off of noise, drivability concerns, and fluid condition. All right, ironically, we got another Chevy Silverado out here, and this thing has a problem where it shudders around first to second gear. They have a dipstick right here. We pull the dipstick out, and that fluid is a little dark. Oh, it smells really burnt too. So we've definitely got some issues in there. If it's got a shudder around first to second on one of these Chevys, we're probably looking for a torque converter clutch issue. So we got my launch scanner right here. You don't have to buy one of these to do this. Okay, so we'll bring up this screen, or let's just go to the system list to make it look easier. And then once you get to that screen, you want to come down. So we're going to go into transmission control module. This is where you got to know a little bit of vehicle information. This is a 2016 Chevy Silverado. It should have the 6-speed transmission in it. We're gonna go to data stream, and then we're gonna go to torque converter clutch data. And then once we get to this, we're gonna select a few things here. We're gonna select torque converter clutch slip speed. We're gonna select desired slip. We can select that if we want. We're gonna do pressure control solenoid status and pressure control solenoid command. And then I also wanna know what gear we're in. All right, so now we got our data up. Now this number right here should be under 50 when this says yes. Says yes, we're commanding the converter on. That should say 0. And then that'll tell us up there what it should say, but yeah. And then you'll see it's second gear, the torque converter clutch is gonna come on. So we're gonna drive this thing, and I'm gonna hold it right here, and then you'll see what the data looks like. And I'll let you know when it's slipping, because you might not be able to see it on the phone. This thing's got some lappy shifts. There's a torque converter clutch on. Oh, you can hear that thing. Oh yeah, that thing is slipping pretty bad. So you can hear it slip, and you see those slips, they shoot up to like 200 or 300. Like I said, they should be under 50. You see them go down, and that's the torque converter clutch locking up for a second. You give it some more gas and they slip on up. That's the torque converter clutch singing in there. It's slipping and it's singing. So as soon as that noise happens, you see those numbers, they jump way high. And that's literally the plate inside that converter probably is metal on metal and doesn't have anything left to grab the other plate. So it's making that god-awful noise. And it's probably causing all sorts of other issues inside the unit. The car here came in for no second gear. It's got 0 codes on this thing relating to the transmission. and I'm trying to get my scanner to pull up so I could show you. But regardless, the other problem with these piece of crap cars, I hate these Chevy Cruzes, is there's no transmission dipstick. So you gotta have a lift or a jack at least to check the fluid, and you gotta have the car running as well. It's a pain in the butt. So sometimes when these things come in and I just feel like it says it's got no second gear or a pretty hard symptom like that, I just take it right up the road. You gotta be careful driving these things because people won't tell you if you'll get stuck in them or not. They'll just be like, oh yeah, it's got no second gear. And then you go to drive them and then you get stuck. So let's hopefully we're all right here. It takes off pretty good. Second gear. It's got no third gear. As soon as it shifts, so it's still in second gear, and I can tell you what's already bad with this thing. I'm surprised it's got reverse, if that's the case. But usually there's a 3/5 reverse clutch in these things that goes bad. So it's got good reverse, but it don't have third gear. It's got one, it's got two, it shifts into second in the parking lot. I could probably get it to try to shift into third if I really wanted to. So it's that easy to diagnose. We already know if this thing, get it on the lift, it's got fluid in it, it's got an internal issue. There's nothing we can do on the outside to get that gear to come back. So here we have a truck that's got some transmission issues. So this thing's a Duramax, which means it has an Allison transmission. So it's not a normal GM transmission. It's actually a lot more durable, and you know, we usually don't see many problems out of them. So the first thing we're gonna do is scan it for codes. We're gonna see what codes are in the system and if there's any transmission codes. So it looks like we have 2 transmission codes, and they're both for a shift solenoid stuck off. Now we could immediately start researching these codes, but first, I think we need to check the fluid. And to do that, on this Chevy, you're gonna start the car. And then over here on the Duramax, this is the transmission dipstick. And when we get it out, we can see that this thing is low on fluid. So before we do anything else, we're gonna get this thing on the lift and find out where the leak is coming from, because there's a reason this thing is low on fluid. All right, with this thing up on the lift, we can see that there's not really many leaks, even though it's low on fluid. You can see some small leaks up top. Cooler lines look like they're tight. You also want to follow the cooler lines back up here, and then we find the leak. So probably these pressure fittings on this cooler line are starting to wear out, and that's where it's leaking fluid out. So he's gonna need cooler lines and probably a transmission service. So now that we know where this thing's leaking from, we need to make sure the transmission's good. And to do that, we're gonna fill it up with fluid and then reset the codes, drive it, and make sure there's nothing wrong while we're driving it and the codes don't come back. All right, she was a thirsty girl. She drank almost 4 quarts of fluid, and I think we're close to getting it full now. But this is a great example of how just checking the fluid can make you discover all the problems, especially on something that's really durable like an Allison transmission. So now we're gonna clear the codes and drive it down the road and make sure it functions right now. All right, so we cleared the codes. Now we're gonna drive this thing and make sure they don't come back and the transmission's operating good. That way we know it'll operate good once we're done with the repair. So really we're just trying to get it through all 6 gears. It seems like it's operating fine as I thought it would, and it's in 6th gear. All right, we're good. That's it, pretty much. Now before you ever take a major component out of a car or you do anything to a car, you want to make sure you know what you're doing is going to fix that car. And that's what this whole video has been about, verifying your fix. Make sure that the problem the customer comes in with, or whatever it is, the main problem with the car is getting fixed by doing what you're going to do to fix it. So for example, with the Duramax with the bad transmission line, we filled it up with fluid, made sure the transmission worked, then we went back and repaired the leak and then serviced the transmission as well. That's an example of verifying what we're gonna do is gonna fix the car, because if we'd have put a transmission line on a bad transmission, he'd have drove it up the road, it wouldn't have been leaking anymore, but the transmission wouldn't have worked because it's already been burnt up. That's why you want to verify the money you're going to spend to fix the car is actually going to do it. And that's just a good example of it. But until next time, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook, where I post weekly content about the day-to-day things that I do. We're also on TikTok now too. You can hit me up on Patreon if you want to give me some money and you feel like supporting my cause of giving away all the information the manufacturers hide. And if you have any questions about your own projects, feel free to email me at justcallmeeddie1@gmail.com. And whatever you do, however you do it, make sure you work hard, make sure you play hard, and most importantly, make sure you stay dirty and subscribe. You can just call me Eddie.